Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the garage. Today, in this video, we are going to finish up the scooter. That includes first doing the motor plate and the motor mount, or stand, whatever you want to call it. And then also, I got some goodies in the mail, finally too, for that. So we're gonna get the brake lines ran, and we should be able to run and drive it today, if it wasn't raining. But maybe we'll do it anyways. Oh, you know what? I just realized we don't have an exhaust. So here are some quick, just little brackets I made. These 4 strips here are actually just an 8-inch piece of square tubing that I cut the walls out of. Or cut into 4 walls. And then these are just some pieces I had laying around. Cut a little notch for the axle to sit in, and that's the motor plate. That you can find these measurements online, all over Google Images, and it'll give you the bolt pattern for the little 2-stroke motor there. So I laid that out on some, that's actually the old motor plate for the trike. Those are the old adjusting slots. So just reutilizing some scraps that I had around, and I put bends in these two to accommodate for the offset, because the motor has to be over that way a little bit for the chain to line up. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna get the 4 legs tacked on to the 2 mounting brackets and the top motor plate, just to kind of make a 4-post stand and get it 3-dimensional, and then we'll just go from there. I imagine I'll have to build some like struts or braces, in both directions, this way and the other plane. But let's get started. Was the chain alignment, and man, after checking that out and seeing that the holes really don't have far to go, I'm thinking I'll just widen out those holes a little bit and send it. And as you can see, the chain, I believe, fits in there without touching anything. The height is, I made these cuts really shallow at first. Was my idea, was to make these just as shallow as possible, because there's no room for adjusting the chain tension. So another tip, if you guys, anybody decides to do anything like this, these chains brand new will stretch, and you can get them brand new pre-stretched to avoid that problem for the most part. But if I got to a point where like this chain didn't line up perfectly, which it does, so I got pretty lucky then, but I could notch these out to drop it down just enough to take a link out and make it tight. I mean, what I'm gonna do is trim this down. Let me focus. Yeah, I'll trim off the top of that to about below half the thickness, and then I'll fill it in with weld. Because one thing I didn't think about was leaving enough meat to weld to because I am right on that bolt hole. So I'm going to do my weld from above. I'll trim that off, fill in the corner with weld, and then I'll grind these tacks out of the way if I have to, because yeah. So I should have left myself a little more meat to weld onto. I didn't think that part through. This is just stuff that you can either buy cheap, because that's only about 8 inches tall. So this is stuff you can either buy really cheap at Home Depot, or you might already have laying around. But I think we're gonna make that, we're gonna force that to work, just to get it going. Oh man, I'm excited. I'm super excited. This is awesome to see it like that. I gotta get the kit. Hang on. Here it is, welded up the corners and then knocked off this extra to make it nice and flat. We put a bolt in there to keep it locked in place from swinging. We'll tighten it down. So just like that. Let's see.
Where's the gas can sit?
That's a good question. I haven't figured that out yet. Okay. And look at that. So, alright, if you go to the other side over here, we'll take out those links and we'll connect it right there. And then we'll see if we can start it. Alright. Chain is on. Ooh, it looks so good. I just hope it might rub there, but it might not. So we'll see. Check these out. Look at those bad boys. And a brand new, like, sparkly red throttle cable. That is too short.
Unfortunate.
But I got a brake cable as well, right there. So we've got this one on. It's just like a rubber handle grip in the inside. It just pushes on. But this one slides. So we've got to drill a hole for that pin right about there somewhere.
Did it!
So I drilled it just perfect. It's 5:30 seconds. And that guy will snug right in there. Just perfect. Now let's get the cable ran. Alright, there it is in all its wet glory. I don't have the foot plate on yet because either I gotta take the chain apart and cut 2 holes in it, or I'll just make a notch so it slides through. I'll probably just notch out that whole corner there so it slides in there. But for now, we got our makeshift gas can with just enough to fill in the hose there. Got the choke on. I think up is on. We got the throttle working. So, we're going to try to give it some gas here. Let me set up the tripod.
I can think of a million things.
Okay, so there's also no exhaust on it, so let's see what it sounds like. spicy meatball. And I've been cutting pieces. I forgot to film because I was so excited. But I've been cutting perfect little wedges. This one is actually going to be my piece to go back to straight or into the expansion pipe. I got like 4 different pieces here cut at 11. First I cut them at 22 and noticed they're a little too wide. It only took 2 of those to make a 90-degree bend, and that was just, you know, that's kind of what I did on that other exhaust, and that was just, I didn't want to go that sharp of bends this time. I need to take these gloves off. Okay. But it was, yeah, too sharp, sharper than I wanted to go this time. And since I got the chop saw and you know, it makes it easy for me, they'd be perfect. Doing that other exhaust with an angle grinder is just impossible. It's not impossible, I did it, but it's horrible. It sucks. So I got a plan that might be easy. Now that I got the chop saw, it might make it a little easier. I'm gonna try to make an expansion chamber. So I've got these pieces here, I think are gonna make my 90, and then another one to actually level the pipe after 90, after it goes under the motor. I need another cut just to level it out to the ground. Then right after that is going to be the expansion pipe. There's the expansion pipe welded together, and I have to go from this circumference to this circumference, or diameter, 2.5 diameter to 1 inch diameter. And the reason I say circumference is because we have to do some math. So you got the 2.5 inch pipe times pi comes out with your circumference, and that's almost 8 inches around, 7.85, almost 8 inches. The 1 inch pipe times pi comes out to pi. And then so you minus those 2 circumferences, is almost 4 3/4 inches. Now if you want to divide that into 4 flanges like I did, you get 1.17, which is almost 1 3/16 inches. If you want to do 6, then you'll divide by 6. If you want to do 8, you'll divide by 8. Well, here it is all marked out, and the idea was to get, I actually went up to 2 inches on this half and only 1 inch on this side to get a longer taper and then like an abrupt stop. And then it would go out the exhaust. But then I realized I'd have to fold all of that over. And that's a lot to try to fold on such a tight radius. I'd either have to cut big relief cuts like halfway or so, and then so that way these tips could collapse in as I push down. But I think I'm gonna redo it, and instead of doing divided by 4, instead of having 4 separate spots, I'm gonna have I guess we'll do 8. I guess we'll try 8. Let's try 8. Alright, here are my new lines. I will cut all those reliefs out, and then it'll be right around there somewhere. I think that's about it. Bam, there it is. 8 wedges cut out of each side. I'll hammer those in real quick. I want to set this up so you guys can watch, but I know the camera's just gonna shake. Crazy thing. Well, it's a new day. It was cold and I was tired. So, let's see. I had to clean up a little bit too before I got the camera rolling. And one thing I realized after vacuuming the tabletop here is I need a welding table. So this guy is getting destroyed. I'm just glad it hasn't caught on fire yet. Here's all my pieces, most of my pieces. This is going to come out of the head here, so I need to make a little piece of straight pipe. Tack those together, tack it to that. This has got another little 11 degree to help kick it up there. Woo! Look at that guy. All done and shined up, fully welded. I mean, that is ugly. It is ugly. I am not a professional welder, and it's a gasless welder on top of that, but I think it's going to work nonetheless. So, let's get it popped on. Alright, there it is. Muffler's on. The floor pan is on, I guess you call it. Let's see if we can get it fired up. I got my makeshift gas can there. Dr. Pepper bottle, thank you very much, Dr. Pepper. I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have you. I'd probably just use a Coke bottle. Alright. Choke. Foot. That's all it takes. It's crazy. Now that thing's got a little bit of torque. If you're not careful, it'll pop that front end on you fast. Another thing I noticed, that chain hit the ground a few times. There's no clearance on that chain. I do right turns only. And then, oh, we're changing color. Oh, what the hell was that? I think this bird just shit. Almost just got pooped on. Hopefully the vibrations won't be too much. guys, it's done for now. I don't know how long that chain's gonna last like that close to the ground, but maybe we'll figure something else out in the future. Well, that's gonna do it, guys. That's it. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you hanging in this long. And if you want to see other builds like this, like the trike get finished, and a bunch of other random things, I do got some plans and some parts for both the trike and the mini Baja. So hit that bell, subscribe, and thank you guys very much.